And recently, actually, I started doing webbing for scaffolding. So, webbing, some of you might be familiar with, is a tool that some of us use to generate curriculum. For example, let's say children are really interested in clouds. I'll put clouds in a circle in the middle, and I might have branches talking about all the different ways we can explore this topic. Recently, I adapted this for scaffolding learning because a lot of times, too, I think we're not sure how to teach something, but we just go into it. And that's okay. That's trial and error. Sometimes we figure things out that way. But if we want to be more intentional about how we scaffold learning, try this exercise, okay? So I did one for cutting with scissors. Many children in preschool start learning how to cut with scissors. And it's a very complex task. And so for me as a teacher, I really had to break it down for myself to visually see all the different steps before I went in the classroom and taught children this. So let's take a look at this webbing for cutting with scissors. I'll give you a moment to absorb all this. I know it's a lot, but just to help you out, the way you can read this is from top to bottom, left to right, very much like how one would read a book, in English at least. And so I know here to start at the top pink line on the left here that I want to introduce some vocabulary that might be new to the children to explain the parts of a scissors. And I kept it super simple because in the preschool age, we don't need to complicate things. So I'm just going to tell them about the handles, the blade, and the finger holes, okay? And now you go to the orange part to the right that says safety. Safety is, of course, paramount, especially when it comes to working with tools like scissors, where we want them to focus on safety before they even start cutting paper, right? So these are the steps I detail for how I might talk about safety with preschool age children and the different parts, show them where the blade is sharp, invite them to gently touch the blade. We don't want them to be scared of it. We want them to know it, to get to know it because this is a tool that they'll be working with. I might point things out like, be careful that the scissors are not pointed right at you, right? We don't want the blade pointing towards our body. And I also added to watch out for our fingers and hair because sometimes, children, when they start cutting, they might get really, really focused and their heads down. Their hair might get in the way. I'm sure we all have some stories about using scissors in the classroom and all the things that we inadvertently cut because of scissors. So we should focus on talking about that too. And of course, I like to talk about please take a rest when you get tired. Again, cutting is such a complex task. And we take it for granted because we're so good now, we're so experienced, but children, it takes a lot more energy to learn something new, to be so focused, hand-eye coordination, dexterity, uh, tolerating frustration, persisting, all of these things are going to require that children take breaks in between. And so I want them to honor that too, to realize when their eyes are tired, their hands are tired, and to take that break, right? And of course, lastly, how you pass scissors to someone else. So I won't go through the rest of this. I hope you will download the slides so you can have this tool or at least have this visual to go from because you can do this with any topic at all. And it doesn't have to be anything that is fine motor or academic. It could be also social emotional. Think about how you might scaffold talking to your friend when they want to dictate all the rules of the game and you disagree. There are things that we can scaffold for children. Endless ideas. So maybe this will be helpful to you. I'd love to hear too if you try it out. My goal is to make a bunch of these for the times that I forget, like let's say I haven't talked about cutting with scissors for 2 years, that I can go back to my reference, my visual